Hey you. Yes, you. If you were sent this, someone thinks you're pretty awesome. In fact, you're like the smell of a paper factory mixed with the copy section of a Kinko's all rolled into one. You're every single scene between Bernice and Anthony on Designing Women. You're like those ice cream cake cupcakes that Dairy Queen used to sell that came with a plastic ring on top that you'd suck the frosting off of and wear the rest of the day after Stephanie's birthday party that she held in her dad and stepmom's garage. You're like that perfectly crisp sound that price tags make when you tear the price portion off on the perforated line. You're like that time when I was 12 when Scott broke up with his girlfriend at camp so he could date me, and we held hands the entirety of the annual 3-day hike. On top of that, you're like mail day at the same camp when you got the mother of all care packages and had enough Mad Libs to last you through the next week at least. You're like when Haley and Mateo got back together on All My Children after his secret wife Raquel came back to Pine Valley and surprised him with his annoying demon child Max. You're the exceptionally soft part of my old pet pig Amy Swinehouse's snoot that I like to rub right behind the tip. You're like they just got a new shipment of hair mascara at the Limited 2 Fantastic. You're like those sour cream and onion Quacker snack crackers shaped like little ducks paired with a handful of Bugles washed down with a blue raspberry squeeze-it. You're like the squirrel Jill I follow on Instagram that I bookmark videos of who eats these nuts with such a soothingly calm precision. You're like when Monica had exceptionally good hair on that episode of Friends where she's sitting in Chandler's lap and they're making out, and then Joey walks in and he's all like, oh my god, stop making out, that's making me uncomfortable. And then later he has a dream about the two of them doing a crossword puzzle together, and then he gets all weird. She had exceptionally good hair in that episode. You were like getting exempt from your final exam because you were a commendable student and adhered to the attendance policy all semester. You're like a decaf iced almond milk latte with 2 sugar in the raws added after the fact so they don't melt in the espresso and in turn retain their delightful crunchiness. You're like that feeling I got when I found out they decided to pretend like season 8 of Will and Grace never happened. You're like the thrill of riding in the backward seat of a Ford Taurus station wagon. You're like Lori Loughlin's complexion and Lisa Rinna's ass with the side of Busy Phillips' hair. You're like those days in elementary school when you were allowed to bring crystal clear Pepsi during movie day so that you could stay hydrated during all 20 hours of your 10th viewing of The Neverending Story. You're the warm blanket hospitals give you after you found yourself in the emergency room on account of having caught the freaking flu because Janice from work didn't want to waste her sick days. You're like literally any Sarah Paulson scare video on Ellen. You're that moment at a Reba concert when she's singing about Fancy just being born plain white trash and the entire arena loses their shit because they're so ecstatic. You're the satisfaction only successfully pulling off a Biore nose strip can bring. You're as perfect as the episode commentaries on the Osbournes DVD box set. You're like if Miley Cyrus, Kelly Ripa, and Mary-Kate Olsen mated to make a flawless super person. You're like a giant hug by someone wearing Lovely by Sarah Jessica Parker. You're like that I want to punch something, it's so cute mouth thing my old boss's dog would do after I'd pick her up from getting her teeth cleaned from the dog dentist. You're like the comments by celebs Sunday Christy Teigen Tegan roundup. You're like that episode of Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman when Dr. Mike and Sully finally get their bang on and do it. You're the sound the cat makes when you open a fresh bottle of Snapple. You're like that Clairol commercial from the 90s when Deborah Messing is dancing around and gets startled by her bae, Steven. You're every ball pit ever from when you were a kid, before you knew what a cesspool of germs they were. Basically, high five yourself. You're a stellar human being. Now go out there and seize the day. You're freaking great.